With October being National Domestic Violence Awareness and Prevention Month, it brought back memories of when I was a little girl. There was this couple who lived just kind of like kitty corner to our house across the street. And that man would always beat on his wife, whether he was drunk or not drunk. He would just beat her mercilessly out here. And I remember Brother Sergeant. He's gone on. He's passed away now. He was the only man that I would see come out and intervene. And there's a day where my mother, she was trying to intervene. She didn't go across the street, but she just came out just as far as the sidewalk, and she was yelling at him for him to stop beating on her. And then even one day, my brother, who was about 12 years old at the time, he was going to run across the street and help her. And he turned back and he said, "Little boy, don't you come over here." And my mom ran outside. And she called my brother back. My brother was 12 years old and he was going to go help that lady. Because that man was just beating her. Sometimes the police would come, sometimes they wouldn't. It was just one of them things where they just figured that's a couple, they known to fight. But even as a little kid, we knew that wasn't right. My brother knew that wasn't right because he was going to go over there. Well, that went on for some time. And then one day I remember seeing her come down the street by herself. And I asked my mom, I said, "Where's that man that used to beat on her all the time?" And she said, "Oh, that's her husband. He's sick now." So some time passed, and then I seen them walking down the street together. And you could obviously see him moving slower. Wasn't hitting on her, beating on her, but he was real kind. Cancer was eating him up. So he was real nice then. Stopped drinking, going to church. But back in them days, cures for cancer weren't as sophisticated as they are now. Well, treatment, I could say, wasn't as sophisticated as it is now. And I just remember that. I said, boy, he was meaner than a rattlesnake when he was in good health. Now his health was fading, and he needed his wife. Needed her to take care of him. Real nice. Done start going to church, stopped drinking, because he was dying. And then after some time he passed. I didn't know when he passed, but I did ask about him when I saw her. I asked my mama, I said, "Where's her husband?" My mom said he died. She said, "Oh, he died." She said it was bad. Saying how bed sores ate him up and all this other stuff, real nasty stuff. And as a little girl, I didn't feel bad for him because I saw what he did to his wife. I mean, just beating and punching on her like she was a man. Bleeding, dragging her by her hair down the street, just horrid. And she called for help and didn't get help. A couple times I saw her getting help. When Brother Sergeant came out, he stopped. Brother Sergeant was, he was a real cool guy. But, he didn't play either. For those in violent relationships, I know that there'll be times when you call for help and you won't get help. They'll just, look at it just that's a couple. They fight. They need to learn how to get along to separate one from the other. But I know how that inner working goes because I dealt with that for a little bit. And even in my time when I was going through it, I thought about that lady and I thought about some other women. And I say, yep, I refuse. I will not be getting beat on. Ain't nobody gonna be jumping on me in my house and none of that. So for me, I was one of those ones who got out, who knew how to get out. But there's so many who don't. And it's not just women, there's some men too. If you see someone that's in trouble, safely render assistance. Because sometimes it turns out bad for the ones who's trying to help. You can call the police or you can get in touch with that person's family, whether it be male or female. And sometimes family, they'll get it. They'll come try to help, and sometimes they won't because they'll have that same thought, that same mentality. Oh, they just fight. That's just what they do. But it always just takes that one good blow, no matter what part of the body is to, and someone could leave here. So I ask you all to be mindful of that. Be aware of the signs. Help and assist where you can, safely. Don't cause yourself to be in danger. And for those who are in those domestic violence relationships, I encourage you to safely seek your way out. Because I know that there are some people, I have known someone to be in that, tried to make their way out, and then the person who was abusing them tried to take her life. She was leaving. Seek assistance, seek help. There is resources out there that can safely, remove you, help you get out of that, whether you have children or you don't. There's resources out there, and I encourage you to seek them.